Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Club. This is the place everyday real estate investors gather to share their best stories, biggest insights, and favorite tactics to grow a portfolio of cash flowing properties in today's market. Here's your host, Gabe Peterson.
All right. Happy Friday, everybody. It is the end of March, January, March. Wow, that's crazy. Time has flown. I hope you guys are having a good day. Yes. It is sunny out here in Seattle. So sending out good vibes to you. Today's going to be a good day because we got Vince Costa with us from down in Austin, currently in Texas. Vince is a mobile home park broker and an investor. So I'm sure he has some good wisdom to impart on us today. So Vince, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
I hope so. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Gabe.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Also sunny. It's warming up here. Happy Good Friday.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. In Texas, it gets hot pretty quickly, right? It gets hot like April, May?
Yeah. We've got one. We're just coming out of our last cold spell and it's going to be 100 probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Every time I go, we mentioned I own a couple properties down there, and every time I go down there, it's like August. And it's like 10 zillion degrees, and I'm just sweating my ass off, and it's tough. But you guys are tough down there in Texas, so
yeah, we know how to handle it, I guess.
It's as much as you can.
Yeah.
I told you before we got on here, we like to start with stories. So why don't you take us back to the beginning of your story in real estate and tell us how you got started?
Yeah, definitely. I started in real estate right out of college, and I worked my way up from a building superintendent, fresh out of college, 23 years old, and was building custom homes. From there, I was part of two big single-family projects, building neighborhoods. One was a condo project. It's called the Walsh in Central Austin. It's 55 houses. And then we built another project. I'm kind of working my way up to a partner level for another 60 homes in New Braunfels, Texas, which is a beautiful part of the world here. And it was a cool project. And I was a broker on the side the whole time while we were doing development and construction. And so working hard 7 days a week for, 8 years. And man, we were about through with phase one of our project, that second project it's called Farmhouse in New Braunfels, and 25 houses built, 25 customers, countless subs. I had 3 superintendents working for me, and a partner, and but I kind of was the main guy on the ground and at the city every night, and just it's a lot. No mobile home park next door is about passing through every month what our projected profits were for the whole year as passive income. And I said, after quick math on that, I'm like, I got to go see what this is all about, And so that's kind of how I got here. I recently moved to Fort Worth. I grew up in Austin, been there my whole life, and my wife and I just moved to Fort Worth. I joined Hope Brothers, Charlie Hope here, and Spearhead manufactured housing for him. They focus on storage mostly in this office. There's just a few of us brokers, and with my background and where I wanted to go, I came and, like I said, spearheaded the RV parks and the mobile home park brokerage side of things for Charlie. So,
nice, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been great.
It's a good place to be. The 2 mobile home parks, I own with partners. They are awesome. I want more. I told you this before we got on the show. Really like mobile home parks. They're a great investment. And so it sounds like you've had a lot of experience spanning from development to brokerage to investing. So a lot to go into. Let's go back to the beginning when you first saw that mobile home park, when you're on that development site in Texas. How did you figure out that this is where you wanted to go? And once you got into that, have you bought a mobile home park yet?
I have not. So I own storage in that same part of Texas. It's called Canyon Lake, New Braunfels area. and it's a small storage facility. And actually, I'm in the midst of selling it right now. We're under contract and set to close, and everything's running smoothly there. But it's a pretty small facility, and I'm kind of getting my ducks in a row to probably move over to the RV and mobile home park side of things, and a little bit probably closer to Fort Worth. What I
So you're looking
found
to
is,
buy your own mobile home RV.
yeah, hopefully, I mean, yeah, this storage deal, it's going to be fine for us, and we'll do well there. What we're and so yeah, we'll find, and the ROI on the mobile home parks versus the storage. Mobile home parks is always, it seems to be, it's going to depend on project, but a little bit higher. But it's also a little bit more labor intensive. So you probably, unless it's big, want it closer to home where you can kind of manage it and check on it, and a little bit more moving parts on roofs over people's heads than grandma's old Christmas decorations that you don't care about in the mini storage.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I love the mobile home parks, and I've been to a lot of them. My region right now covers everywhere from Colorado, New Mexico, and the 6 states surrounding North Texas. So Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. And so I've seen a lot of mobile home parks already, and the short time I've been with Charlie. And but yeah, sorry to answer your question, I guess. I was living in Austin, and I did the quick math on what the lot rents were. I was looking for actually a place to just hang my hat at night because we were working so hard at that project, and we were building luxury homes next door to this thing. And that was about 250 houses, and the lot rents were $600 a month. And so, I was just quickly saying, okay, their maintenance must be this, that, and wow, I got to go see what this is about because their passive income is wild. Um, and
And so you
it's a
said the passive income exceeded the development that you're doing. Were you developing luxury homes for rent?
No, for sale. Yeah, for sale. This was
The
this was post COVID. Our construction costs were insane.
Oh,
And
okay. So
our
profit
spread
on
per
the development was
our
the
yeah, our profit on building and selling houses. Yeah, for our what we had projected annually, they were passing through that or even a little more every month.
man,
So
that's rough. I mean,
I
I
know.
feel like that kind of has to do with the development underwriting essentially, because you should be making a lot more on a development project than a mobile home can pass through in cash flow every month. Mobile home
Yeah,
park,
you
even with
should.
250 sites.
I
I
know.
mean,
Yeah. I mean, you look at the size too. We were building 25 houses a year, and they had 250 sites, and but yeah, it was post-COVID. Our lumber costs were crazy. All
mm,
the construction costs were crazy.
yeah,
I mean, it's new construction, so there's not very many comps to go around it. We're also building specialty product in a kind of on the outskirts of a.
niche area. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, and that's kind of how that all worked, though.
Yeah. So let's tell me a little bit about the your marketing so far. You're on the brokerage side. You like brokerage. You're looking at mobile home parks. The hard part about getting a good deal in the mobile home side is finding the deal. It's just
Right.
getting in contact with the seller and getting a good purchase price. I mentioned I've been looking for a good one since we bought those two, 3 years ago now. So I haven't found a good mobile home park since then. How is your marketing going? What have you found that's worked on the mobile home side? Just tell us a little bit more about your brokerage.
Before we continue on with today's guest, I want to tell you guys about a community I'm launching on School to help investors like yourself grow your own portfolio. In this community, you'll get access to all the docs I use, all the systems I've built, everything I've used to grow my own portfolio, as well as instructions and guidance on how to get out there and find great deals, how to finance those deals, and then how to manage them for great returns. Since we're just launching it, the price will be set at a measly $20 per month, and whatever price you join at is the price you'll have for life. We will be increasing the price as the group grows, so if you're at all interested in growing your portfolio along other investors, now is the time to join. I will put the link somewhere in the bio or on our podcast website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. So if you are interested, head on over there. With that said, let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, so it's very active. It's active brokerage, and by that I mean it's a ton of cold calls, massive amounts of cold calls.
Are you doing these cold calls yourself, or do you have a VA team working for you?
Absolutely. No, I'm doing all the cold calls myself. And then it's just about follow up. If somebody says they can meet in the area, even if they're a couple hours away, it's you get in the truck and you go, you know. And so yeah, that's the best way we found to kind of find these mobile home parks, because like you said, it's not like there's an MLS for it. It's it's tough to find.
Yeah.
So
I feel like, especially for mobile home, because a lot of them are mom and pop run, not so much now, but if you're looking at the smaller mobile home parks, even 50 and under, they're going to be owned by smaller operators. And so getting in front of that person, like shaking their hand, goes such a long ways. I've been on the table with mobile home park owners across the country, and I'm always like, I'm not going to fly out to you until we have a signed contract. And that is, people really push back on that. They want to shake your hand before they sign the contract. And so being able to actually go and meet the person is super important. Have you found that to be true with your own brokerage?
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that's the biggest thing is, you got to remember, you and me are calling probably the same guy, and countless other people. Obviously, the secret's out on mobile home park, and so the biggest thing is just building that trust level. And I think that the only way you can really do that is to get in front of somebody and shake their hand and show that you're a good guy who's going to work hard for them. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much you actually do have to follow up until something actually turns into a deal. I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I think I followed up for 2 years before I closed the deal on this one deal that I worked on. I had been talking to the seller for over 2 years before we actually closed, just because things are going on in their life. It's not the right time to sell. It's not the right the greater environment in which they exist is not correct for their sales tastes. But then one day comes and they're like, all right, today's the day. You call them and they're ready to close. So
Absolutely. I mean, I can give prime example of, if you would have asked me even 6 months ago, hey, is your storage units is your storage yard for sale? I would have said, no way, I'm never selling it ever. And it's going to be paid off in this amount of time, and we'll hold it forever, you know, and circumstances change all the time. So I always keep picking up the phone, and like you said, it took you 2 years to follow up and you got it.
yeah. So tell me a little bit about that the storage property you bought. That was your first one that you bought?
Yeah, that was my first one I bought.
Okay.
I think I was it's like 27 when I bought it. It's pretty small.
Okay. How
It's
big?
it's 30 units, 4,600 square feet.
Mm.
So very small. It's a little bit, and now, like I said, I just moved. And so it's just a little bit too far to manage it correctly.
And you were
It's
managing
so
it yourself?
past. I was, yep,
Okay.
been managing it myself. And what you fight in this area is land cost versus versus what rents. And so, especially Austin to San Antonio corridor, the land values are just wild. And sometimes the rents don't always keep up with that. So your spread gets smaller, and it just doesn't make as much sense to hold it long term with what you're making every month, your cash flow. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then we're just trying to poise ourselves to buy maybe something larger. I know we mentioned that before we started, and so yeah, just kind of looking at a projection, and like I said, changed my mind from I'm never selling this thing to to now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I've mentioned this on the podcast before. People who are interested in getting into self-storage, I own at this point I've owned 5 of them. I love self-storage as an asset class. When I first got started, I did the same thing as you. I was tempted and I thought I'll start small, and that will, then I can learn, I can cut my teeth on small deals. But I wish I hadn't done that. The first one I bought was 44 units, really small. I can't remember the square footage, but it was a small facility. And the hard part about small facilities is that you can't hire management. The cash flow or the P&L won't allow for management to be hired,
Exactly
or else
right.
you're going to cut all of your profit out. And
Yeah.
so that makes it a nightmare. If you guys are interested in self-storage, definitely go for it, but don't buy anything under, I would say under 20 to 25,000 square feet. That still won't allow you to have somebody on site, but at least you can do a third-party property manager, and have them manage the facility, mostly remote, and still make a little bit of money. But small self-storage, you got to watch out for sure.
Absolutely couldn't agree more with you. And so that's what just in the process of learning right now, and we're moving on to, to exactly what you said.
Bigger and better things. There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Right on, man. So for people who are considering becoming a broker, this is whenever I
Mhm.
have people who, do brokerage on the side or it's their main gig on the show, I always like to ask, I'm not a broker. I've done investing since 2014 without getting my license. Every single year that passes, I sign up for that stupid course. I pay the $500 and I'm ready to get my broker's license, just thinking like, oh, I should get it, but I just never do. And I haven't done it for 10 years. So I'm waiting for that perfect argument for somebody to come on and give me that pushes me over the ledge and actually get my license. What do you like about being a broker? For other investors out there, would you recommend that they get their license or just continue down the path of being an investor without a brokerage license?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they want to do. I think um, getting your broker's license for fun, doesn't always make sense. I think if you want to be a broker and you want to push deals out to clients and kind of my biggest thing with the brokerage side is seeing countless amounts of deals.
Mm.
You can see how many deals are out there. You can see what deals, maybe even, like I said, I'm on manufactured housing, but the rest of my guys in the office are in storage. I can kind of see their deals and see what's good, what's not, and poise yourself when you're ready to, jump back onto that principal side and become an investor again. But brokerage is great if you want to be a broker. That's my opinion. And I started right out of college. The second I got done with my last class of in university, I started my real estate classes, and then from there, about 7 years later, I got the full broker's license, and so I could work on my own. I worked on my own for 6 months before, and then came here. But yeah, I mean, um, learning what's right and wrong and ethical and not, I think is all great on the brokerage side. But for me, it's I probably wouldn't get it unless you really decide you
Want to
want
be
to
a
be a
broker?
broker and push deals. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's not the argument. I'll continue having having
Yeah,
the
it's not. I mean, there's a lot of things that come with holding the license, and
yeah.
and certain things you can say and do, and there are certain things you have to hold back from. With your if you're just on the principal side, it's kind of more of a Wild West
Yeah, exactly.
way of doing
Uh,
business, at least.
one of these years, I'll just push it off one more year. All right, man. Well, that wraps up the main portion. So it's time to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. It starts with books or any form of education. Could be movies, could be Netflix shows, whatever. I just need two recommendations: one for general life wisdom, and then one for real estate.
Yeah, man, the real estate one, I this one's the 10X Rule, Grant Cardone. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a great book. I mean, I'm push hard on work ethic. The more you put in, especially with brokerage, the more you get out of it. Volume's the huge game. And actually, I met Grant Cardone one time
Oh,
in
nice.
Aspen at like a some kind of bar, and talked to him. And he said, "Man, you're going to be a killer one day." And so got the book, read it. It's great. My non-real estate book, Turning the Tide by Sidney Fitzpatrick, is an amazing book. It reads like a novel. But it's a true story about a guy who took down a Medellin cartel in the Bahamas, and nobody's ever heard of it. It should be a Hollywood movie. It's incredible. It's about a 60-year-old man that single-handedly took down a cartel.
That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to
It's
watch
really
that. I
cool.
would like to
Yeah.
watch the Netflix series on that, but
They should have one. I don't know. And actually, that book, it's the 70s or 80s, but it's the same island that the Fire Festival was on.
oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So way back,
That
that
island
island's
is
got
doomed.
crazy history. I know.
All right, next question is for your younger self. So let's go back to the Vince, who was just getting started in real estate right after college. Go back to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
I would say, do not be afraid of cold calls. No one's going to reach through the phone and grab you or punch you. If they get mad on the cold call, just hang up and call the next guy. And like we were talking about earlier, circumstances change. Don't be afraid to call again in a year or in a month. You never know
Yeah.
where someone is on cold calls. Don't be afraid of that. Also, just the follow through afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say the hard part is just picking up the phone. If
Yeah.
you're dragging your feet, just get up, pick up the phone, dial the number, press it. You don't have to be mentally there until they start talking. But once the ringing starts, then your mind will kick in and you'll be ready to rock. So
Absolutely.
all right. Next question is about the US. It's a big place, a lot of opportunity. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
Man, Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Northwest Arkansas, because of where I'm from, I kind of look at all these articles that this is the next Austin. That's the next Austin, and so they say Fayetteville, Bentonville is the next Austin, with how much money the Waltons have put into Bentonville. It's an amazing, amazing place. And I think it's just poised for mega growth. I'm excited
Awesome.
about Northwest Arkansas. A lot of my clients are excited about Northwest Arkansas. I get lots of calls about that every day. So
Huh, that's interesting. I haven't
yeah.
not many people say Arkansas. In fact, I invested in Hot Springs and that was one of my nightmare
Yeah.
investments. But just because there was so much property damage there. But Arkansas is a unique state, I would say.
It
a lot
is.
of cool. All right, Northwest
But
Arkansas. Maybe I'll have to look into it.
definitely look into it. I couldn't say enough good things about it.
All right. All right. Next question is about finding deals. It all starts with getting in contact with the seller. So tell me, what is your favorite way to generate leads and find new deals?
Yeah, like I said, cold calling is probably the best way. And or call your broker.
There you go.
Take,
Networking with brokers. That's what actually a lot of
yes,
people that come on the show say that. And so you are a valuable commodity out there.
I'll always answer the phone.
There you go. All right. Second to last question. This is about your strengths. We're all given gifts that we uniquely provide this world. So what is your Superman strength?
Oh, I'd say I'm pretty personable, and most people I get along with. I mean, I'd say most people. I think every single person I get along with, no matter who you are, and so that's probably my best strength.
Yeah, that is a good strength to have in real estate because it's a people business, and so being personable
Absolutely.
definitely goes a long ways. All right, that brings us to the last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. It's a two-parter. Where can they find you, and then what can they expect when they reach out?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, and that's probably the best way to find me. You can send me a message on LinkedIn anytime, and I'll hit you back right away. And if you just send me your phone number, I'll pick up the phone and call you. Even better.
There you go. I will put that link in the show notes. So if y'all want to reach out to Vince, just click the little more in the description. It'll pull down that full description, and in there you can find his link.
Awesome.
All right, man. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Gabe.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you having me.
For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you want to support the show, just give us a like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Other than that, hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate. Keep picking up that phone. Keep dialing those numbers. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode.
All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.